The United States the United States Federal Reserve hiked its rates because of inflation, and the United Kingdom is also expected to announce the hike in rates to counter inflation a day after India's RBI also raised rates by 40 basis points. What's the impact been this as countries around the world are hiking rates to counter inflation?
The biggest interest rate hike by the US Fed in over 2 decades finally didn't lead to much shock and awe as many feared. The Indian markets were volatile but ended the day flat. That as the Fed ruled out a sharper hike of 75 basis points as speculated. The central bank, battling its highest inflation in 40 years, instead raised rates by 0.5 percentage points in line with expectations. The Fed indicated at least 2 more similar hikes over the next couple of months. The US, which is the world's biggest economy, also contracted in the Jan to March quarter.
Inflation is much too high, and we understand the hardship it is causing, and we're moving expeditiously to bring it back down. We have both the tools we need and the resolve that it will take to restore price stability on behalf of American families and businesses.
The US markets rallied over 2.5% post the Fed's announcement, while the European markets jumped over 1%. Major economies across the world are hiking interest rates to toughen their fight against inflation. The RBI yesterday announced a 40 basis point hike. The US Fed has announced its sharpest hike in 22 years. And the latest in the list is the UK, that has announced a 25 basis point hike, taking its interest rate to a 13-year high. While US banks have already passed on the rate hike to its customers, Indian banks are yet to announce this. India's battle with inflation is just beginning. The Finance Secretary told NDTV that it backs the RBI's move to raise interest rates to control inflation. Foreign investors have been pulling out funds from Indian markets since late last year. The sharp interest rate hike raises the question of whether India should brace for a lot more foreign funds draining out of its markets in the coming few months. Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.